HCTV Sports is supported by the Hastings Public House. Memories made local.
First goal of the year goes for the Raiders.
Oh, beautiful shot there. Nicely done. Gets the pin. Oh, was that beautiful?
Onside kick, and it's recovered by Hastings.
And he's rung up for strike 3.
Sablawi! Touchdown Raiders!
Hello everyone and welcome to Hastings High School as we get set for a matchup here between your Hastings Raiders and the Hudson Raiders here in boys basketball on HCTV Sports. Happy to be with you here on this Tuesday. I'm your announcer Owen Ely on the call. Should be a fun one here on Parents' Night as we'll look to get to the starting lineup here. But before we do that, we'll take a look at the Big Rivers Conference. There you can see Hudson early on, but undefeated in conference play, 3-1 overall. Very winnable conference for Hudson.
A 6'3" sophomore, number 11, Tyler Lazard.
The only loss coming back on December 3rd at Kimberly. Lost that one 34-50. 2-game winning streak for this team that's going to be very familiar with the road, especially in 2023. There we'll take a look at the non-existent Metro East Conference standings. We'll put the Raiders at the top of that one, but no conference games played yet. 2-1 overall. We were here for the last game for Hastings back on Friday, a thrilling overtime victory against Apple Valley. Very nearly won in regulation, but went to overtime. Solid performance. 2-game winning streak as well for Hastings. Their only loss on the young season came back in the season opener versus Big Lake for the Tip-Off Classic. Also have a victory on the road at East Central, 72-57. Looks like we'll have a lot of familiar faces here starting. I believe the same starting lineup we had back on Friday. Very exciting to see how this team responds. They're going to have a bit of a layoff because they play on Thursday, but after that they're going to have a bit of a layoff here.
Let's play basketball.
Hudson already ready to take the court here in this border battle. A battle for Raiders supremacy. We'll have the 6'3" Kellen Newton ready to take the tip-off here for Hastings. And it will be won by the hometown Raiders. Burnatz on this first possession for Hastings. A little bounce pass from Newton swung back to the near side for Parker McGinnis. Burnatz gets the handoff back on a bounce pass for the first points of the game from Kellen Newton. Very short lineup for Hudson, so Newton and his size figured to have a big impact on this game. Newton closing off. A missed shot taken there by Tyler Lazard. Airballed three-pointer, potentially tipped from Lazard. Now stolen back from Burnatz. Cuts to the inside, sends it off for a teammate. Three-point shot off the glass for McGinnis. Raiders off to an early 5-0 lead. 60 seconds into this one. Could not say the same thing in their last matchup. Obviously they won that, but I believe they got down 10-0 to start the game. Had to crawl their way back as we're going to foul on the play off of the handling from Ben Healy. And they're going to give Healy the foul. Burnett's the top scorer for Hastings, 24 points in that victory on Friday. Peyton Lee Dean stuck in the mud near the elbow, sends it off back for Burnett, drives in, spins right in front of Newton. Newton with the box out, the defensive rebound from Peyton Lawrence, looking over his shoulders on that one, spins it around to the near side wing. Now Healy pulls it back to the logo. And that very extended short corner, the pass, and the 2 points there for Ross Yeager. Gets Hudson on the board. Burnett's nearly taking a defender out of his cleats there. Or should I say sneakers. Newton wanted the pass, but it's going to be Burnett's with a bounce pass to Kelvin Maher, who had quite the defensive performance in his last game. Will take a mid-range jumper. Puts the Raiders back on the board. Two-point response quickly from Tyler Lassard. Now it's Burnett's quick trigger on the three-pointer. Nearly had Peyton Lawrence boxed out there on the end line. Lawrence back for Burkhoff, near side wing, Yeager off to a teammate, approaching that restricted arc. The spinning jumper for Benjamin Burkhoff.
Burkhoff, 2.
Hudson right back in this one, 7-6 equation for Hastings. Lee Dean, a pump fake, pass to the near side, Maher dribbling it back. Motion there from the front court for Hastings, and a three-point made from Maher. Raiders' three-point shooting was a little bit spotty the last time we saw them, but they are starting off the game hot here tonight. This one bouncing maybe off the shin of Healy. Either way, it's a turnover. Hastings, dead center three-point shot right off the front of that rim. Jumping defender in front of Burkhoff, passes it off for Lawrence as he gets squeezed down on the baseline. That's going to be a turnover against Hudson. There's a look at the three-point shot from Maher, a few feet beyond the arc. So 5 minutes into this one, only one foul on the game. That one plainly intercepted. And that's going to be a foul against Peyton Lee Dean on Tyler Lassard. And Lassard going 1 for 2 at the line. Some quick passing, creates some space for Newton. Air ball is a three, just barely kept in bounds by a balancing Ben Healy. Healy halts at the three-point line, a cross-court pass for Lassard, driving in, almost loses possession of the ball, sends it off for Swavely. Lands a three-point shot. That's going to tie us up at 10 apiece. Another turnover here for the Raiders offense, and we'll get a slam. Well, we'll call that a slam dunk there from Tyler Lassard as Hudson takes the lead, first time tonight. Lassard a little jumpy here on defense, trying to force another turnover here for Hastings. With a mid-range jumper there from the free throw line for Kellen Newton. Back all tied up here at 12 apiece. Couple of quick passes. Ball finds its way into that near side corner. A missed three-point shot from Healy. Maher met near the logo. Now Newton at the elbow. He wants to pass and nearly sent that one off. Luckily for Hastings, it's recovered by Peyton Lee Dean. Otherwise, that could have been the third turnover of the night for Hastings. Newton swarmed on either side. Another turnover. A long pass. Healy stays patient as Matthew Foss, the ninth grader, was coming in there, trying to block that one underneath the basket. Newton with a handoff at the elbow. Free throw line pass from Maher. Maher taking it back, swings it to that far side for Lee Dean. Dangerous pass. Newton, good arc, but not precise enough, and the ball's gonna scurry out of bounds. So thankfully for Hastings, they're gonna regain possession again. We'll take another look at the turnover and the slam dunk from Lassard. .11:30 to go here in this first half. Hastings Raiders with the inbound. Koenig's in the game for the first time tonight. Yet another turnover here for Hastings. We'll see if Hudson can capitalize and try to extend the lead here. Lassard with a little shimmy finds the open man in that short corner, and there's a collision underneath the basket between Burnatz and Jackson Malice. There you can see the great court vision from Lassard, not just a scorer. First foul of the night on Burnatz. Pulling the ball back from that far side wing. Switching wings. Hudson staying patient. That was a high pass, nearly out of bounds, bobbled by Healy. Pressure from Esterby. Air ball on a three-point shot. And we're going to call a jump ball. Possession going to Hudson. So there was a couple of Hudson Raiders on either side of Evan Koenig's. Hudson with the inbound, catches Hastings bunched up along that baseline. Now spreading out, Lassard, a three-point shot, offensive rebound. Nobody was there for Hastings as Hudson settles down the possession, a pass along the baseline. Hastings defense not presenting that many holes here as they force Hudson to just pass the ball around, looking for a look that they like. Just passing with impunity here. Driving down low, chest to chest. Yeah, almost another offensive rebound for Hudson. Nearly swiped away. That was LeBlanc who nearly secured that rebound for Hudson, but it's going to go the way of the Hastings Raiders. Burnatz driving in, found some space. He'll miss the shot, but he's going to collect the foul from Hudson, and Burnatz, the leader for this Hastings team, will head to the line. An opportunity to tie this one up at 14 if he can make both of them. Ross Yeager and Sam Schwalbach checking into the game for Hudson. Kellen Newton returning for Hastings. And Burnatz goes 1-1. Handful of passes along the perimeter before we get a drive in from Malice. Sends it off to a teammate who airballs that one out of bounds. That was Ross Yeager. First shot back on the court. Hastings only down by one. We see some nice handling from Burnatz before he just gets lost in the sauce there. Hastings is going to have to do a better job at holding on to the ball, and that's just an uncontested shot from Peyton Lawrence. Can't be allowing that. Burnatz looking for a response. The bounce pass assist for Matthew Foss. As we get a timeout called by Hastings, down by one. Here's a look at the last scoring play for the Raiders. They just caught Hudson a little too extended there, and Foss found some space as he was driving in. There's a look at the Raiders on the bench and head coach Chad Fikema. And there's Hudson, head coach Brent Larson. Well, we would like to thank Hastings Public House for supporting HCTV Sports. Hastings Public House, memories made local. Very appreciative of all of our sponsors here at HCTV Sports. And following the timeout, we're just north of 9 minutes to go here in the first half. Hudson Raiders with possession, driving it down the middle, off to Schwalbach. Misses a three out of bounds. And they're going to say it went off of a Hastings player. I didn't see a signal, but that's obviously what they're lining up for here. Lawrence, quick inbound to Burhoff, back to Lawrence. Three-pointer off of back iron, and now Hastings with possession, a chance to take the lead. Burnatz surveying the field, drives down low, and misses that layup. With haste, back the other way. Hudson swings it around, a pass right off the face of Sam Schwalbach. Number one on number one. Burnatz off to Newton, really favoring that near side elbow, trying to set up something offensively. And a foul is going to be called against Hudson, their third. Jackson LeBlanc into the game now for Hudson. Burnatz passes it off for the three-point attempt from Easterby. Both teams falling flat here with their perimeter shooting. Under 8 to go. A battle for the ball, and we got a player taking a tumble over a chair. Thankfully, he's all right. That's Kyan Easterby. Well, we'll see the hustle there, as he could have been a lot worse there, as he looks like he's competing in track and field, trying to hurdle that chair. Guess it just shows you how much the battle for Raiders supremacy is between these two teams. Every possession matters. A forced turnover here from Hastings. Foss up the court, nearly swiped back the other way. A little floater attempt from Burnatz. Now some contact. Lawrence pumping up the shot. Neither team too hot scoring the ball here in the last handful of minutes. Burnatz tried to drive into that short corner, looking for some space along that baseline. Couldn't find it, so he sends it back to Esterby. Newton for Maher. Maher connects with Esterby. To Newton, shuffling around that elbow, gets the handoff to Maher, spins around, jump shot. Right off of the back iron to that rim. Now Hudson's offense setting up here, 6.5 to go. Slimmest of leads for the team from Wisconsin. A three-point shot, Newton closes him off. Ball is going to careen out of bounds, and they'll give possession to Hastings off of the missed shot there from LeBlanc, as we'll have Peyton Lee Dean entering the game. Well, the Hastings Raiders would really like to break this dry streak here over the last, say, 5 or 6 possessions. Maher was looking to pass. Works his way in with the handoff to Parker McGinnis. To Newton, no hesitation, puts up the shot. And about a 12-footer sunk in there by number 22, Newton. Hastings back in the lead. Now Newton finds himself defending along that far side, trying to halt any three-point shot attempt here from Hudson. They have no problem swinging passes all the way up and down the court, as we'll get a rebound from Maher up the court. McGinnis for Lee Dean. Now McGinnis fakes the pass, set the screen. Maher with the three-point shot. 5 minutes to go. The Raiders with a 2-possession lead. Ben Healy walking his way down, sends that one off for Lassard. Back to Healy to Lassard for Jackson LeBlanc. Gets the two-pointer. I believe that's his first points of this game. Now Burnatz, a high pass. Back to Burnatz. He's got Newton set up right in front of him. Maher with the bounce pass. We'll get Burnatz firing a shot from downtown. Lassard passing it off in the high post. Thought about running that one out, spins around and gets the 2-point collection there for Ben Healy. 22 all. Going to be a foul called on the court. We'll see who that's on. I believe it's on Hudson, as we'll take a look at the 3-point make from Kelvin Maher. Not a lot of in-between for Hastings shooting the 3. Or even Hudson, for that matter. It's either nothing but net or an air ball, as we'll get that one off the glass for Burnatz. Lassard, the high pass collected by Malice. Back to Lassard. Probably had some space there down low if Sam LeBlanc wanted to drive that one in. Might have caught Newton off guard, but instead the Hastings Raiders defense standing tall, forcing a turnover. North of 3 minutes to go. Burnatz at the logo to Maher. Really wanted to get that one back to Owen Burnatz. Driving in on Lassard, trying to create some space. Lassard standing tall, back out for Lee Dean, dead center. Now Burnatz barking out some orders behind the back. Switches up on the defender. Might have a matchup there that's favorable to Hastings. Poked away, but corralled by Kelvin Maher. Thankfully for Hastings, no shot clock this year. Be very interesting to see that implemented next year. Newton, a hard two-handed pass for McGinnis. He'll drive in, spin, make some progress. It's near that far side elbow. As it's a stalemate here between this defense and offense. Burnett puts up the shot, out of bounds. I'm gonna say that went off of Jackson Malice. Newton was in the vicinity for Hastings. And we'll get a inbound here from the baseline for Burnett. Screened three-point shot successful for Hastings. Burnett adding to his season total. Unquestionably the best scorer on the court, not just in this game, but probably in any game Hastings has been in this season. Some bully ball trying to get down low from LeBlanc. Second chance opportunity goes for Jackson Malice. Burnett very nearly loses that ball. A quick little exchange between Burnett and Newton. Will get a foul called on the court with under 90 to go. And there's a look at that last three. A nice little semi-screen there from Newton on Ben Healy, creating the space right in front of that Hudson bench. So they call the foul on Hudson. They don't put a number up on the board, but that's the 5th team foul for Hudson. Only 2 for Hastings. Kept on side by Maher, but now there's a wrestling match for the ball. I feel like Kyle and Mitch should be on the call for that one. But we will get a timeout called by Hastings. And they'll preserve the possession with 73 ticks to go before we send it off to a break. Very competitive border battle between these two teams going back and forth. The Raiders on top for now. Excuse me, the Hastings Raiders. It's going to take me all game to get used to that. But Hastings on top for now. Typically a team that plays better in the second half. So a good sign if they can walk off to halftime with a lead of any kind. Shot of the student section across the court. Not quite as big as it was on Friday. Still plenty of students showing their support for the boys basketball team. Two timeouts used in this game, both of them by Hastings, so they only have 3 remaining. Hudson still with all 5 as Newton puts up the 2-pointer down low, point blank. Extends the lead to 5. Now there's number 5, giving it off to the near side wing for Malice. Dead center, right back to Malice. Will sail that one over the head of Lawrence, out of bounds. And the Raiders, the Hastings Raiders, with a chance to increase their lead ever more. Maher with a quick flick of the wrist to Burnett. Primary ball handler for Hastings. Nearly poked away as that one was attempted to get into Newton. We'll get a 3-point shot there from Maher way downtown. Misses that one. Under 30 to go. Well, it seems like Hudson might just want to hold on to this and make this the last possession of the first half. Just content to drain down the clock. I believe that's Lassard with the ball. Passes it. Almost taken back the other way. A three-point shot bounces out, and they held on to possession, but to no avail on the scoreboard on that one. So we'll head off to halftime here as Hastings will head back to their locker room. An exciting one as the Hastings Raiders up and down, and at halftime they find themselves up by 5. So we'll send this one to halftime, 27-22, Hastings over Hudson on HCTV Sports. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hastings High School as we get set for the start of the second half. At halftime, the Hastings Raiders lead the Hudson Raiders 27-22. Excited to be back with you. I'm your announcer, Owen Ely, as we're just under 45 seconds to go before this second half tip-off. Quite a game, back and forth. It's not quite hockey, but there's some darn thrilling basketball. And while we got your attention, we'd like to talk about the Hastings Boys Basketball Holiday Tournament, which is going to take place on Wednesday, December 28th and Thursday, December 29th. Same with the Hastings Girls Basketball Holiday Tournament. Again, that's Wednesday, December 28th and Thursday, December 29th. Should have some fun matches there. We got Hastings taking on Irondale on the boys' side. Well, same with the girls' side as well, so that should be fun if you want to see this team and its female counterpart in action. And speaking of action, we're back to action here in the second half. A rather low-scoring affair between these two teams. Hudson, certainly, when you look at their box score, not exactly an offensive juggernaut, a very sound defensive team, not allowing too many points. And they are certainly showing that here as they try to get on the board here for the first time in the second half. And a three-pointer made there by Peyton Lawrence, the senior, gets the scoring started here in the second half right in front of his own bench. Now there's Burnatz with a spin, the pass to Newton, to Maher. Back to Lee Dean, far side, Burnatz. Newton waving that ball around, gives it for Burnatz. Takes an unfortunate bounce as Hudson's back up the court. Driving in that short corner, out of bounds off of Newton. And there's a look at that three-point make from Peyton Lawrence. Quick inbound, some space, driving in a little floater there from Tyler Lassard, no good. Burnatz with the pass, back to Burnatz in front of his own student section. Pulls it up, threads the needle on a bounce pass, gets the assist to Kellen Newton. Hudson with tempo, drives past Newton, who tries to get a rip at the ball, and that's Lassard putting the ball in off of the little whirly there. Burnatz off for Lee Dean. Raiders only up by 2. We'd also like to shout out Josh Neerdales for tuning into the broadcast all the way from Chicago. And Josh is going to love that one. That three-point attempt from Lawrence. Now Hudson back on top, going the other way in transition. A 2-point addition there from Ben Healy, and just like that, it's a swing of a handful of points. Now there's Burnatz with the underhanded layup. Hastings down by 1. Started off up by 5 just 3 minutes ago. A high pass, kept in bounds there by Healy. Swings it more towards that wing. Couple of quick passes. Burnatz defending. A missed shot, and then an offensive rebound taken there by Ross Yeager. Dead center off to that far side. Another three-point make, and this is... I don't think this is the Hudson Raiders. I think this is the Golden State Warriors here in the second half, as they are just nailing three-point shots. Another unsuccessful trip for Hastings, so now a 5-point lead. It's a 10-point swing here for Hudson, and it looks like they'll get Burnatz with the foul, the first foul of the second half. There's a look at the last scoring play for Hudson. Pass whipped over for Healy in that corner. Tried to sink another three. Nobody was there for the defensive rebound, but a second chance opportunity is just that, an opportunity for Hudson. A three-point response. Kind of rolls over the top of that rim. Now full court press taken there by Esterby on Yeager. Bounce pass to the elbow, far side. Short corner. Newton defending right over the outstretched hands of Foss. Nearly ripped away by Esterby, and instead they're going to get him with the foul. Two players checking out for Hudson. Now there's Healy with the pass to the baseline, back out on the perimeter. Healy, Lassard, near side for Healy, gets the pass into the short corner, low post, outside. And they just outpass the Hastings Raiders on that one. 3 or 4 passes in a row, and they've got a wide open man for the 2-point bucket. Top of the arc, Newton looking to pass on that tight defense. Drives in. Foss with the bucket. Screen set there on Esterby and on Newton. They'll jack up a 3-point shot, no good. They'll try to get up a second chance there, as we'll have a Hudson player hitting the deck. It's going to be the second foul on Esterby in just as many minutes. The senior Healy at the line. Peyton Lee Dean checking out for Hastings. And Healy goes 0 for 2. The Raiders with a rebound this time. That's Kellen Newton, tallest player on the roster, save for Evan Koenigs. They tried the alley-oop there from Lassard to Healy, and instead that one just sails out of bounds, as we'll have Jackson Malice, 5'11" senior, now back in the game for the road Hudson Raiders. Maher gets the pass off to the wing for Newton. Now Newton calling for a pass. It's going to be deflected back the other way. Lassard under the rim there and puts in the 2-point play. Maher turns it over. It's Lassard again. And he just big boys Kyan Esterby, as we will get a timeout called on the court with under 12 to go. It's now an 8-point and growing lead for the Hudson Raiders. There's a look at the second to last bucket from Tyler Lassard. And there's a look at the last bucket from Tyler Lassard. Good defense there by Esterby not to commit his third foul of the second half. It was a timeout called by Hastings. They only have 2 remaining. Hudson still with 5. They have yet to call a timeout. Potentially going with the PJ Flex strategy of taking timeouts home with you back to Hudson, Wisconsin. Well, we'd like to tell you about our next broadcast, and that's going to be boys swimming between Hastings and Simley, December 20th at the Hastings Middle School. That'll kick off at 6 p.m. If you want to check out the full schedule, you can go to www.hastingstv.org/sports. Well, we'll see if the timeout fixes anything for Hastings. And we'll see if Chad Fikema can work his magic. Certainly 8 points, not a insurmountable lead here with under 12 to go, but again, not something you really want to put off for any longer than you have to. Newton just a little short there on that mid-range jumper. A pass from the perimeter to the low post, back out to the perimeter. It's Healy to Suavely. Now pulling it back with the reset. Malice works its way to Lassard via Suavely. Absolutely no rush for Hudson. We saw that earlier in the game, just taking their time, making sure that these offensive possessions are worth it. A bounce pass into that short corner on the far side for Malice. Esterby on Healy. Now Malice again with the reset back to the Raiders center court logo. And we have a score update for girls hockey. It's 0-0, 11 minutes in the first. Probably a little more action in that one than there's been in this game in the last minute. And Hudson nearly with the turnover. There's Esterby kind of wrapping himself around an attacker there. Hastings almost sprung the double team to force the turnover. Now down low, working his way outside from the baseline. A defensive rebound there from Newton. Finally will end the 2-minute possession there. Boys hockey is also down 1-0 versus Anoka in the second. Plenty of action here tonight for Hastings Raiders athletics. We'll see if Hudson remains as patient on this possession as they were on their previous. They find an opening that they like, and they strike when the iron's hot. That's a three-pointer there from Benjamin Burkhoff. So Hudson not stalling as we get the bucket there from Burnatz, but just staying ultra patient. Find the shot they like. That one off the back iron. He'll catch his own offensive rebound. That was Suavely. Got this Hastings defense going all over the place. Now here's Esterby with the transition breakaway layup. Slowly working their way back in this one. Only a 7-point lead. Three-point shot with the defender in front of him. The offensive rebound from LeBlanc. He'll get another rebound. And Hastings just, as they allow that two-point bucket, Hastings just not doing a great job tonight, offensively or defensively, rebounding the ball here against Hudson. Here's a look at the replay. There's that three-point make from Burkhoff. And there's the breakaway for Kyan Esterby. First timeout of the game called by Hudson, under 8 to go. And we'd like to thank Hastings Public House for supporting HCTV Sports. Hastings Public House, memories made local. Thank you very much, Hastings. And we got Serena tuning in from the Paris of the Midwest, also known as St. Michael, Minnesota. So I'd like to thank her very much for tuning in. I'm not quite sure if that's the Paris of the Midwest, but I'll take your word for it on that one. And we got Michelle Evers watching her nephews play from Spring Valley, Wisconsin. So we really are a multi-state broadcast. We got everybody tuning in from around the Midwest. Two-point response there for Hastings, coming by way of Owen Burnatz. Just quick, shifty, absolutely killer when he's driving in, and he's going to have a chance for a three-point play on this and one. I'm sure we also have Reagan Hooverman tuning in from Hudson. So I don't know if that's a conflict of interest for Reagan working here at HCTV Sports, but we'll have to press him about that when we see him next. It was a 7-point lead just a few minutes ago. Now it's a 6-point lead. So Hastings kind of working their way back into this one. We had Maher getting sent to the ground by Benjamin Burkhoff, and a whistle here with 7:13 to go. We'll catch the foul here against the Raiders, the Hastings Raiders. Jackson Malice at the line. Only a handful of games to go here for Hastings before it's a new year. On Thursday, they're going to be at Park. Next Tuesday, a week from now, they're going to be right back here against Woodbury as Burnatz puts up the spinning attempt. No good. And they'll close out the season 8 days after that on the 28th. Here against Irondale. That's going to be that boys basketball holiday tournament. Three-point shot. No good for Hudson. Heavy pressure. See if Hastings can catch him sleeping here down the court. Burnatz. And like lightning, he works his way coast to coast and gets the 2 points. Now a 5-point lead. Time slowly running out here for the home team, under 6.5 to go. Pass connecting there with Burkhoff. Sends it off to a teammate who hits a three-point shot. That's Sam Schwalbach. Gives a little more breathing room for Hudson. There's Burnatz just trying to drive to the rim. Misses that shot in a sea of white. Another three-point shot from Schwalbach in that corner. This time not successful. A turnover forced against Burnatz. And likely Jackson Malice with the foul. So there's a look at that three-point shot from Schwalbach. So Hastings ball. Burnatz gives it off, back to Burnatz, the quarterback of this offense. A little attempted Euro step there, a second chance. Gonna call the whistle as number 1 there for the home team, heading off to the free throw line. Well, when it comes to Hudson, they still got 5 games after this one to go before 2023. They're gonna really pack it in. This Friday, they're on the road at Chippewa Falls. This Saturday, they're going to be at St. Croix Prep. Then next week on Tuesday, they'll be on the road at Menominee. Next Thursday, on the road at Stillwater. And then on the 28th, they'll close out 2022 at home against Chisago Lakes. A very interesting schedule for Hudson. By my count, I think they have 9 home games and 14 road games, so they're going to be very used to traveling by the time this season is over. No extended home stretch, as we'll get the 2 points there from Ben Healy. 9-point lead. Pass down low. Somehow that's corralled and put up by Matthew Foss. Very impressive play there for Hastings. Five minutes flat to go here in regulation. Will Hastings come back? Will they force this one into overtime? Will they win it in regular time outright? Well, and we'd like to shout out somebody for this Hudson team viewing from South Dakota.
Say that name's hard.
We're not going to say your username because I would butcher that one, but you know who you are. Thanks for tuning in from South Dakota. I mean, really, what do we got? We got Minnesota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Illinois. Everybody's tuning in. Burnatz over the top of a defender, misses his shot. 4:20 to go. Jackson LeBlanc now in the game for Hudson. That's the aforementioned LeBlanc swinging a pass over. 3-point attempt, nearly pushed in off of the rebound. Goes in. I don't know if the whistle was called beforehand. And we'll have Ben Healy at the line for some critical free throws for the road Raiders. Crowd not getting to him on that one. But they do get to him on that one, so he goes 1-1 at the line. Hudson will take any points they can get, just trying to add some extra cushioning to this lead. Substantial lead, but not a safe one. Maher brings the bounce pass to Burnatz. Burnatz, a little dribble behind the back and just got a little too much power on that bounce pass along the baseline and results in a Hastings turnover. McGinnis back into the game for the Hastings Raiders. And the boys hockey team, we have an update. They're now down 2-0. We're going to foul here. on Hudson. That's going to be their 5th team foul, 5 team fouls in the second half for Hastings as well. There's Newton, foot on the elbow, drives in, looking to spin around, puts up the shot, and that is a thing of beauty. A one-man army on that play. Brings Hastings to within 6. A drive along the baseline, a spin in the restricted arc for Ross Yeager. Really working up a sweat there. Now Newton gets stripped. We do get a whistle. And a foul on the offense on that one. And we'll get Hudson using a timeout. Under 3 minutes to go. Lead back to 8 for Hudson. Hastings really going to have to play perfect for the final 3 minutes if they want to pull this one off and win in front of their young fans. But excuse me, if Hudson wants to win in front of their young fans. I can see why they're dancing. Up 8 points here. Should be interesting to see what strategy Chad Fikema chooses to employ here. Enough time to come back, but not enough time to mess around. Especially against a very patient Hudson offense. Hastings just one foul away from sending Hudson into the bonus. And a travel call against Tyler Lessard. So now the Hastings Raiders on offense. Every possession counts. Going to be important that they get something here. They'll pump up a 3-point shot. And the defensive rebound taken there by Benjamin Burkhoff. Not sure if that was the highest probability play that Hastings could have ran there. Hudson now back on the calculated attack. Healy to LeBlanc. Look at the pass in to Burkhoff there at the elbow, and then we're back to just passing the ball back and forth here. Burkhoff with the handoff, driving in, sends it out, denied by the bottom of the backboard. Now here's Burnatz, loses the ball in between 3 or 4 Hudson Raiders. And they will get a foul on Hudson, so Burnatz is going to head to the line. And Burnatz going 50% on that trip. We'll get a timeout called by Chad Fikema. 1 timeout remaining for Hastings, 1:47 to go here in regulation. Hastings down by 3 possessions.
Thursday, they travel to Hartford for a 7 o'clock game. The girls play at Castle Vanderbilt on Friday at 7, and Rochester Town Marshall Saturday at 2.
Certainly possible that this Hastings defense can force some turnovers on Hudson. I mean, we saw that against Apple Valley. They were stellar at kind of putting the pressure on when they needed to and you know, force some errant turnovers, and surely they're going to have to win some possessions here before it's all said and done if they want to win. I'd like to shout out Jameson for tuning in from St. Paul, and Darren tuning in from somewhere. We don't know where though, because he didn't put a location, but he could be tuning in from the metaverse.
He's at home sick. That's what he said.
And boys hockey making quite the comeback here in the last 12 minutes. They've scored 2 goals. They're tied up 2 apiece versus Anoka. Back to action here, 1:40 to go in regulation. Hudson with possession. The onus is definitely going to be on Hastings to try to force something here. And they're trying that, pulling out some of those defenders, and they force a turnover right there, puts up the layup. Peyton Lee Dean puts this game to within 5. Hudson calls the timeout, and there's Lee Dean doing it all by himself, getting the steal, getting the transition, and getting the 2 points. Now we're within 2 scores. Again, like I said, we just saw this Hastings Raiders defense get aggressive, forced a turnover, and maybe those kids don't care about the score when it comes to dancing. I think they're just dancing all the time because they're still dancing up by 5. Best view in the house for my money, standing up on those tracks. Back to action following the timeout. 1 timeout remaining for Hastings, 2 remaining for Hudson. Full court press. Now here's Lassard, gets the pass off to Lawrence down the court, offensive side. And a 2-point response from Ross Yeager. 7-point lead. Hastings got a hustle here in the corner. 3-point attempt, an air ball by Peyton Lee Dean, rebounded by Lassard, gets it in front for Lawrence, right in front of that Hudson bench. And Burkhoff pulling it back, gets the pass off, a nice bounce pass, and boy, that is a thing of beauty right there, that sequence for Hudson. And that's likely going to put the game out of reach here, up 9, 25 seconds to go. A 3-point shot brings it a little more reasonable here for Hastings. They're actually going to call that a long 2-point shot. I think Maher was trying to intentionally foul there, but they were not given that as that pass goes out of bounds. We will get a foul called here, under 10. And that's going to put Hudson into the bonus. Not that it'll matter, as these free throws are just going to be a formality. McGinnis back into the game for Hastings. And Yeager going 2 for 2. 9-point lead with 9 seconds to go. Little push off there from Burnatz. Long bounce pass for Parker McGinnis. And that's going to do it. So in the border battle, the battle for Raiders supremacy, Hudson defeats Hastings 61-54 on the road. As they advance to 4-1 on the season, the Raiders dropping to 2-2. All things considered, a good basketball game, a good clean basketball game between two solid basketball programs, but Hastings, they were up, they were down, and when it mattered the most, Hudson comes in here and they're going to go back to Wisconsin with a win. So with that, we'll look to wrap it up here from Hastings High School, a 61-54 victory for Hudson. Special thanks to Hunter Pinkey, Owen Ely, Ian Andrusek, and Will Sellen. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This has been HCTV Sports.